one of the absolute best analysts in the business. Mitchell Clinton's going to join us from Tampa. He's down there, of course, with the team, part of the radio broadcast. So he's going to update us on what's been happening down there. And as always, you can watch us on X, YouTube, Facebook. You want to, what did we tell them to do? Smash that like button. But looking forward to today's show. Yesterday was a big day inside Canada Life Center because Bruce Springsteen had his concert here.
First time ever, right?
No,
yes.
Is it? Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people have waited for that. I saw him back in 2007.
Okay. So
fantastic.
Like 3 hours?
Yes. Fantastic concert. But so Bruce was here yesterday, and now Disney on Ice is moving in. So there's a lot of scuttlebutt going on.
There sure is.
A lot throughout the arena. But
Anna and Elsa kicked us out of here last year, just so you know, not holding a grudge.
That's right. You've moved on. I can tell.
I used to love Frozen, but whatever. Whatever.
Hey,
whatever.
To steal a line, let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Oh, how about
done.
that? I listened to it a lot over the years. Yeah. But of course, the Winnipeg Jets on the road right now as they continue this road trip. They started with the win in New York. They are now 15-1 and in Tampa for the game tonight. And then they finish it off in Florida, which would be another great one on Saturday.
Should we show the cool, like what the history they've kind of made, I guess, a little bit, don't you think?
Sure, let's do it.
I gotta find the brand thing though.
Okay, well, while you do that,
here, I got it. I'm ready. There it is.
Look at that.
They
just continue to roll, and everywhere you look now, people are talking all about Winnipeg Jets. And I think that, I mean, not only the record, obviously, that they've had the start, but then being on the East Coast does help a little bit in terms of eyes and being able to see the Winnipeg Jets themselves with the start that they are on. Other exciting news for today, and we are going to get to our question of the day in a moment, but we did want to let you know that there is only one home game left.
Oh, boy.
This month.
Yes.
November 19th, the Florida Panthers. So that concludes that home and home series that they have with the Panthers. And we are giving away 2 tickets today. You are going to see in the chat, you are going to see a link that you will be able to put a password in for. The password we have not given out yet. Obviously, we will in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll get
so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, right after Ray Ferraro, we will release the password. So just hang in there. Link will be in the chat group. So keep an eye on that. 2 tickets to the game against the Florida Panthers on Tuesday as Paul Maurice comes back. The Stanley Cup champions come in. It'll be a home and home. Those 2 teams will face each other on Saturday. A lot of people have an eyes on that one, but they should have a lot of eyes on the game here this evening in Tampa Bay, because whenever Tampa Bay and the Jets get together, a lot of stuff happens.
Well, we certainly saw that, a week and a half ago.
Yes.
It led to a lot of discussions when the Lightning were here in town. It's great to see so many people in the chat already. Or I'd love to see that people are checking in from all over. James is checking in from Fredericton, New Brunswick. Some are getting ready for CFL awards. Gregory is. Always love that. Hi, Phyllis. Great to see you as well. Some of our regulars in here too. But looking forward to what should be a great day.
Yeah, and just the way they started the road trip. A lot of people, let's talk about Mark Scheifele. 7 goals in his last 3 appearances at MSG, and he had a tremendous game. Kyle Connor, who went in on a 5-game goalless drought. We knew that wouldn't last long. He had like 6 shots in the first 2 periods. He gets 2 goals, so he's up to 11 on the year. So it's just a great start overall for this hockey club, and it keeps rolling on as they go on this 3-game road trip, and it continues here in Tampa Bay.
Yes. So question
I'm in Winnipeg. Let's not confuse people.
It's true. Otherwise, we would be basking. We'd be doing this on the beach.
I'd be doing this outside right now.
Yes, by a pool, something like that. Palm trees, maybe somewhere. Yeah. Question of the day: where do you think the Winnipeg Jets are going to finish this season in terms of standings? Obviously, right now leading the way with their 15-1 record. When you look at the Central Division, right behind them, Minnesota. It's crazy to think of the start that they have had as well. They're 10-2-3. They are 7 points back right now. They are in action tonight. So too is Dallas. They're 9-5. They're 18 points on the season, 12 points back. But certainly the Wild continuing to keep pace somewhat with the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, Eagle Eyes weighing in with President's Trophy for the Jets. That means first overall in the standings. That's, considering the start they're off to right now and the attention that they're getting, that's fantastic. And then just you're building up all these points, all this goodwill early on. So, should they get into a little bit of a drought, you've got some headway in front of everybody to start the year.
Yes, absolutely. So morning skates have finished. Obviously, they're an hour ahead of us right now. When it comes to the Jets, There are no lineup changes in terms of skaters, but we will see Eric Comrie is reports that Mitchell Clinton had. Comrie 3-0 to start this season, 267 or 2.67 goals against average and a 914 save percentage. Doesn't matter who has been in net. The Winnipeg Jets have certainly come to play.
Yeah, they have. And I think what the Jets have done a great job with over the years certainly has whoever the backup goaltender has been. It's just been the right fit with Connor Hellebuck. You know, they have to have that idea that they're not going to play a whole lot. They have to understand that. And, you know, of course, Laurent Brossoit before this. And then there's, of course, Eric Comrie making as many appearances within the organization. But, man, he's off to a great start and at 3-0. And he had a career high numbers the last time he was with the Jets. Looks like he's well on his way to doing that and hopefully getting more wins than the last time he was in the Winnipeg Jet uniform in the season.
Yeah, so the Tampa Bay Lightning coming into this game, they are 7-6-1. They haven't played in a week, actually. So they this will be their first game since loss against St. Louis, I believe it was. But news out of there, no Braden Point at morning skate. So without their number one center, he was injured in that game here against Winnipeg early in the first period. And so he hasn't been able to play since. He will not be in the lineup today. So playing without their number one center.
Yeah, that's tough. And, you know, Tampa Bay, because of salary cap constraints, would have to do a lot of tinkering with their lineup. Losing Braden Point certainly does not help their cause, and reason why they're 7-6-1 at this point of the season, an extremely competitive division that the Tampa Bay Lightning play in. So that's a big loss for them and maybe a benefit for the Winnipeg Jets, but it is always hard to win in Tampa Bay. Great building, great fans, just a great atmosphere outside and inside the building.
Yeah, and they've done well at home so far this season. 4-1-1. They've allowed the second fewest goals at home, averaging just 1.83. Of course, the Jets, one of only a couple of undefeated teams left, or the only undefeated team left on the road.
Yes.
For it. So 7-0 to start the season. 36. They've outscored opponents 36-15 so far. Mitch, as we mentioned, will be by shortly to be able to bring us up to date a little bit. The Jets had the day off yesterday. I think some guys maybe went golfing. Some guys went fishing.
Mitch said he went golf dome or whatever those top golf. That's the one. Yeah, that's where he went. I was asked because the first question I asked whenever he's on the road, golfing. Yeah, because I mean, the way the schedule has gone down for Winnipeg, they're in the middle of pretty much playing every other day. The problem is like you got to find your rest time, and the Jets have done a good job of that. So you get a huge win in New York. It's a 3-hour flight from New York to Tampa. You get into the hotel late, so it's probably the best idea. Not that I'm making the plans for the team or I'm part of the coaching decisions, but for them to have the day off yesterday is tremendous, and they had earned that opportunity to have a day off. And I'm looking forward to asking Ray Ferraro what he thinks about days off in Tampa Bay.
I imagine that he's enjoyed a few and that we would usually find him on the golf course if that's where he was today.
Oh my gosh. It looks like Ray Ferraro has joined us.
Oh.
It's just like it's just how funny how this works. And there is Ray Ferraro from ESPN. Ray, how great is a day off in Florida?
Better than a day off in Bristol, Connecticut. Right? I didn't realize I was going to pop right on here, so I'm going to stick my headphones in while we're talking. But it's like anybody. You get to the sun, right?
Yeah.
You get a day off. Guys get to the beach, and it's awesome. It's like a recharge. Not even as great as things are going with the Jets. Like just a recharge is it's so great, right? And guys look forward to that when they see the schedule come out. They're like, got a day off there. We got a chance to maybe play golf, maybe do nothing. And it's something you look forward to for sure.
Yeah, as do broadcasters. We all know.
Yes.
We know as well. Ray, thanks so much for joining us today. And your podcast you wear many, many hats, but one of them is the Ray and Dregs hockey podcast. And you guys just dropped a new episode today, and you have an interview with Scott Arniel on it. What was your biggest takeaway from that interview?
That he talked about how he didn't use the word disappointed. He used the word embarrassed. They all felt last year after such a great regular season and a face plant in the playoffs. And I've never really thought of it that way, that of course you're going to be embarrassed because nobody cares about the 110 points. They care about the 9 days of the playoffs, and then all of a sudden you're done. And so he felt that the way that the guys took that embarrassment, embraced what they were trying to do with the coaching change. And even though they were very familiar with Scott, but there's new ideas, there's new terminology. And he felt like the guys came like ready to attack the embarrassment. And I think that was, for me, the biggest, it was kind of surprising, really, and really open, like really forthright. And we did last week, we interviewed Spencer Carberry from Washington. And, this week we talked to Scott, and I said to Dregs, it's pretty easy to see why guys want to play for people like this. Like they're upfront and they're honest and they're open. And really that's all any player can ask.
Ray, after the embarrassment of what happened in the first round for the Jets, a lot of people are clamoring around. You got to make changes. You got to do this. You got to do that. How much credit does Kevin Cheveldayoff deserve for what's going on right now to start this year?
Well, he never gets enough, I don't think. I mean, it's been a long time that the Jets have been a good team. It's hard year over year to put competitive teams together, and there are challenges that every team goes through. You got to hope your draft picks hit, and you look at Winnipeg, and they've got a lot of draft picks that have hit. You have to hope that when you replace players, the ones come in fit to what you're trying to do. So I think the most obvious thing was when they lost was to look at their roster and go, they don't really have a second center. And I would say that's still a point to look at, yet they've won 14 of 15 games. You can stare at it as much as you want. And maybe the fact is that they feel like they can play four lines, one over top of each other, and just over time, when I say over time, I mean in a game, gradually grind your team away. And they've got tremendously talented players, but they've got a deep team. Like they're big teams win. Like you look at the finals every year. As much as I'm a small guy. I was a small player. I like small players, but the teams that are at the end, they're all big. They withstand the 2 months of the playoffs. 2 years ago, Vegas looked like a football team. Mm-hmm. And the only small guy they had was Jonathan Marchessault, and he won the Conn Smythe. So like when I look at the Jets team, I'm like, they're stout, they're big, they can skate, they got a fabulous goalie. It's a well put together team.
I'm going to use the word stout from now on. Yeah. I'm adding that too.
Word of the day.
That's right.
Please. Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to give you credit all the time. It's going to be every time you watch a Jets broadcast and you hear stout, it's going to be my equivalent of the Carol Burnett ear.
Oh, the ear tug. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
This one will be for you, Ray. Okay. Just quickly, wanted to ask you one broader question, not related to the Jets, just with Connor McDavid on the doorstep, obviously, of getting to 1,000 points, just 1 point away. They're playing in Nashville tonight. Can you give some sort of context to just what sort of accomplishment this is?
Well, the 1,000-point barrier is a pretty elite. Like there's not, what is he going to be, the 100th guy to get to 100 points? And it somehow sounds like a lot of people, except it just isn't. When you go over the history of the sport, and then to do it in, is he 650 games, I think, right around there. Mm-hmm. It's remarkable to think that a player could be that productive, that fast, that consistently. And don't forget too, like, he missed a half a year when he got hurt early. Yeah. And it's like nothing ever has really slowed him down. And Steve Dryden, who was a great mentor of mine at TSN, we all love Steve, except when he had a 27-minute phone call and you only had 12 minutes for it. But he's the one that coined the phrase of McDavid, to me anyway. McDavid's the most evolved player of all time. Mm. And there's lots of great players, lots of amazing players, but there's nobody that does what McDavid does. There just isn't. I think for the speed and the hands, the only guy close in the league is McKinnon. Like when Nate McKinnon gets going downhill, it's something to watch. When I'm lucky enough to do a game and McDavid goes by me at full mm-hmm. speed, I'm like, it literally, even after these many years, it takes your breath away. It's like something you just don't see anywhere else. It's and for him, he'll go, yeah, it's a great accomplishment. And then he'll move on to the next one. But 1,000 points this quickly is is really, it's remarkable. And we should, whether you're an Oilers fan or not, just count it lucky that you get to watch him at his prime.
Before we let you go, Ray, just a quick question. Like, just when you talk about being at ice level, is that the best way for fans to kind of really appreciate how fast the game is? Because you can watch it on TV or you can watch it in a second tier, but is it truly to understand how quick the game is nowadays? Do you have to watch it from ice level?
I don't think there's anything that equates to it. I love doing the games from there. I feel more connected. You got to be careful because you can't see as much. You've got to know there's different ways to try and view your way around the ice, because sometimes there's a bunch of these big dudes in front of you and you can't see anything, right? And but I've done, when I do games up in the booth, the game seems slower. It seems like more like a chess match.
Yeah.
And the way I always equated it or used as an example was when Wayne Gretzky played, he played with the vision of above. He played like he could see where everybody was going. Most of us played like on the ice where there's a bunch of 200-pounders in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fast. And I think what people are struck with is how big the players are
right.
and how small the rink looks, because there's just not very much room. When you have the puck, it doesn't matter that there's 30 feet open 100 feet away. You can't get there, right? Like you're in a box and you've got to think and you've got to move fast. And I think it's the best sport to watch live. It's the best sport to watch low.
Agreed.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you coming in and joining us here
No,
today.
no problem.
Your time.
Next time I'll have the headset ready. I'll be set to go.
Is it bad on the producer for not recognizing the talent was ready already?
Absolutely. Not, so. As they say, it's always, someone else's fault.
See you.
Take care.
Ray,
you guys
have
a
so
great
much.
day.
Really appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
Great to see you guys. Bye-bye.
Oh, always, what Ray used to be a part. I mean, obviously he worked at TSN for years now. He's with ESPN largely, but he used to do some of our Jets broadcasts.
Oh yeah.
Analyst, and is just a tremendous guy. So really appreciate him taking the time to join us.
Before Mitchell Clinton joins us, because he's sitting in the queue right now, we have tickets to give away to the November 19th game against Florida.
So we're going to put up the link. There you go. If you'll see it, it's in their chat right now. And the passcode is history. There
it is. Tickets, password, history. Link is in the chat.
We are going to pull a winner before we get off the air, so you will know beforehand. But it's great to see so many people joining us right now. Where
thank you so much.
Will do that. Yeah.
It's not the people that are on the show. It's not about the people. It's about what you're giving away.
So Ray, with great points. Again, just want to remember that interview with Scott O'Neill for the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast did drop today. Really interesting. Always enjoy listening to Ray and Darren Dreger talk hockey, especially when they have their guests on. So make sure you go and check that one out as well.
Okay. Should we bring Mitch in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could leave him there for a little bit.
We'll see how long. He looks all happy. And
see how long how patient he is.
Let's just see how long he'll wait. Let's just stare here, waiting. Okay, let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in.
From his beautiful hotel in downtown Tampa Bay, Mitch, do you think the location of the rink in Tampa Bay is the best location in the NHL?
Oh boy, it's up there. I'll tell you that much. The one thing that I always remember here is, I think it was last year, it might have been two years ago, something like that, but it doesn't get not a whole lot of rain in Florida, right? Normally. The one day that I was walking over, I was in a suit. It was for morning skate, thankfully, but got outside, sunny, and literally by the time I had cleared the hotel property, so by then you're about halfway to the rink already, just absolute downpour. So it starts raining. I think myself and Paul Edmonds and somebody else also got caught out in that rain. So we get to the rink and people are looking at us like, oh, what happened? It was beautiful outside, but for that 35, 40 seconds, it was absolutely pouring. So that's what I always think of here. But thankfully, it didn't happen today when I walked to the rink.
Mitch, let's talk a little bit about Eric Comrie. You and I had been messaging with you earlier on this week, and I said, what do you think the odds are that Comrie gets into a game on this road trip? And you said that you thought in your mind that Tampa was a possibility. Obviously, he is going to get the start tonight. Just what have you thought of Comrie, and why do you think this was the right game to get him in?
Yeah, in terms of which game to get him in, just looking at the schedule, and we all know Connor Hellebuck likes his rhythm and certain amount of days, between starts and everything. And I just you start looking ahead to the Florida back-to-back or home and home. There's going to be a couple of days here and there on both sides of that. So you figure he's probably getting into those games. So then you start doing the math of how many games in a row that Connor Hellebuck started. It's kind of like, hey, we're getting into it's this area, whether it's either going to be New York or it was going to be this game. And I mean, either one was going to have, in the likelihood, whether it was Tampa or whether it was New York, it was going to have the premier goaltending matchup, right? It was going to be either Hellebuck and Shesterkin, or it was going to be Hellebuck Vasilevsky, right? So, but then I also kind of thought that, Eric Comrie certainly earned the opportunity to get back in there. And it just, all signs to me, for whatever reason, just pointed to Tampa. And what stood out to me this year about him, especially in the Columbus game when he stopped 20 of 22, was how calm he's looked in the net. I know he's talked a little bit to the media about some of the adjustments that he's made over the course of the last 8 or so months in his game, working on staying up a little bit taller and positionally. But I just think he's looked so calm. I mean, the save he made on Sean Monahan on that breakaway in Columbus, It just kind of looked like he was just like, got it. All right. And that's clearly, obviously, Winnipeg fans be very well aware of how skilled Sean Monahan is. And that's not an easy save to make. And then really he settled into that game, made some big saves when Winnipeg needed it. And then eventually, obviously, they pull away to a 6-2 win. So I think Eric Comrie certainly looked really good so far this year. And it's not an easy thing to be able to, sit for this time. I think it's 5 games. Early in the year, he's had 4. He's had a couple. We talk about Connor Hellebuck liking rhythm. Eric Comrie's been able to keep himself fresh, keep himself ready to go. And when his number has been called, he's been ready.
Okay, so it's Tampa, it's the Jets. They just played each other recently. What is it about these two teams when they get together that the game always becomes some other level of entertainment?
The goal that I always think of, this is a few years ago now, but it was in Winnipeg, and Nikolai Ehlers scoring a goal where I think he's diving across the crease or something, and he puts it in. I can't remember if that tied the game or gave the Jets a lead, but it was just he had all this speed going and just a high skill play. And I think that really sums up how these two teams are, right? It's two very skilled teams that have guys on both sides that can make you pay when you make a mistake. And, just wandering around the Tampa room today, a number of players were asked about playing Winnipeg, and Ryan McDonough said something along the lines of, you pretty much have to play mistake-free hockey. And imagine being the opposition going in thinking, okay, if we make a mistake, it's going in the back of our net. And for so many years, and even now, I mean, they still have Nikita Kucherov. Braden Point won't play tonight, but Victor Hedman's over there. Anthony Cirelli's a guy that's capable of putting the puck in the net. They've got some guys, Jake Gensel as well. On both sides of things, if you make a mistake, whether it's at your blue line, their blue line, it's coming back the other way, and it's going to be a high quality chance. So you have the skill on both sides. But then I also see from both sides as well, they're not a team that really takes much crap from the other team either. You know what I mean? When there's any version of pushing and shoving going, you get a big group of guys in there. Logan Stanley obviously had the big hit on Glenn Denning a little bit earlier this month. Gergensons jumps right in. He's trying to show that he's a big part of Tampa's group going forward. So, I mean, it's both sides have players that, maybe it's not their primary role where they're going out there looking for a scrap or the rough stuff, but they have players that can back up each other and back themselves up. And I just think when you get two teams like that have that skill, have that, winning pedigree over the course of the regular season, certainly between these two teams, I just think it always makes for a really good matchup.
Very quickly, Gabe Vilardi continues on his point streak. We're at 8 games now. And I feel like it's almost flown under the radar just a little bit. The fact that we're at 8 games now for him. He also the other night became the second fastest Jets player to hit 50 points in Jets history to hit 50 points with the team, just behind Patrick Laine did it faster. But you think of the way that he has come on as this season has progressed. Same thing, that line with Mark Scheifele. I think just what do you expect to see from Gabe tonight? When you're up in the booth, what are you watching for, Mitch?
I'm watching him in puck battles, number one, because that's a big part of what makes that line tick, whether it's, defensive zone where he's along the walls trying to win against pinching defensemen, or if he's, in the offensive zone trying to help that cycle continue going that line likes to put together. And, that's usually where if he's winning those battles, chances are being created. And obviously he's got the high end skill to knock a puck down and make the move that he did against the New York Rangers. Obviously that's there. He's got the net front presence, but it all seems to stem from him, from Mark Scheifele, from Kyle Connor, from winning those battles. And a quick stat look up today, since October 30th, so the day after the loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs, that line is outscoring their opposition at 5-on-5, 9-1. Like, they're on a incredible run right now. And it's even crazier to think that Kyle Connor, up until the game against the New York Rangers, had gone 3 games without a point. Like, he was, you know what I mean? Like, he was getting all these chances, just wasn't going for him. And then he bangs off 3 points in one game. And that line looked pretty much unstoppable against the New York Rangers. So that's what I'll be watching for.
All right, man. Pull the curtains back over. Let the sun shine into the hotel room again. We appreciate it. Yeah, let it all in. Let the sun shine in, Mitch. Oh, just gorgeous. Just a gorgeous. Take me to Tampa.
Enjoy it. Thanks so much, Mitch. Really appreciate it. Have a great call tonight.
Yeah, anytime. And I hope I won the tickets. I put it in while you guys told me later, so.
Something tells me that you're going to be here already anyways.
Have a good day.
See you,
Thanks
buddy.
so much.
This is Mitchell Clinton joining us from Tampa Bay. Really nice hotel, really nice location. Big game tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Absolutely. The Jets have won 5 straight against Tampa. Obviously, they won the last game that just happened a week and a half ago here, a 7-4 win, which kicked off the great Winnipeg Jets homestand. One thing that John Cooper has said, so the Lightning—
John Cooper's coached in Canada, too, at the Four Nations Face-Off, so I don't think that there's—
He's not watching, a little double duty, maybe keeping an eye on the Mark Scheifele's, the Josh Morrissey's, maybe the Adam Lowry's, never know. Tampa, just with the month of November right now, haven't had a great start to it. I'm just trying to find where it is. Oh, they're 0-3-1 so far. Losses to Minnesota, Winnipeg, St. Louis, and then a 2-1 overtime loss to Philadelphia. That was their last game. But one thing John Cooper said, a big issue with us, especially of late, is we're overcomplicating an uncomplicated game. And I just thought it was a really interesting comment, because I think that often when we see, especially really good teams struggling, it can be that extra pass, waiting a little bit too long that you sometimes see. And I hadn't heard necessarily it put that way before all the time by a coach. And I liked that line for it. Another one, much like Stout. I might use this line in the future as well. Okay, we do have a winner for the 2 tickets to the game on November 19th. And want to say congratulations.
Bida Ozga.
Congratulations, Bida.
Yeah,
we hope we got we will get a hold of you. We hope we pronounced your name correctly there. We appreciate everybody joining in and being able to be a part of this check-in. You take a look, the conversations, we're getting more and more comments all the time.
See, what I love about this, every time somebody wins tickets, people just say congrats. They're just like, you guys are just great people on our chat. We appreciate that. Quick note, speaking of Gabriel Velarde, Ground Control, the latest podcast will drop tomorrow.
Yes.
Gabe Velarde is our guest. It is, I'm probably not promoting it enough, but it's one of the funniest podcasts I've done.
And this is what I love very quickly about it, is that to me, when I think of all the personalities on the team, Gabe doesn't necessarily stand out as one where I think, oh, this guy's going to be hilarious. The way that we used to always laugh with every time Nate Schmidt would speak, or, we always talk about how Dylan DeMello's Brendan Dillon was good. Brendan Dillon was good. Neil Pionk is underrated, funny. But Gabe Velarde, your ground control with him, it should not be missed by Jets fans, because it will certainly have you laughing.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things talking about this dog. There's a photo of the dog in the house that he brings up about his girlfriend. Talking about that. There's a great story about how he eats chocolate before games.
See, now this is a player that I can relate to.
And then I made a mistake. I had thought that during the draft, it was on the broadcast, and it said his uncle played in Serie A, which is the top league in Italy. And he told me, no, that wasn't his uncle. So,
don't let
I
that.
thought I had
scare
done
away.
my research, and I thought it was literally, it was a fact on the screen during the draft.
Yeah.
An uncle had played Serie A, and he's like, no. So enjoy me making a mistake. Enjoy the laughter of Gabe Velarde. Great personality. You guys are going to have a great time watching that one tomorrow when it drops.
Absolutely. You
Okay.
do not want to miss it. Okay. Congrats again. Beta, we will get in touch with you regarding getting you those tickets. We do have more tickets as well to give away. We've got obviously a couple of shows left leading up to that November 19th game against the Florida Panthers. We do have more tickets. So you want to make sure that you join us for check-in.
Yeah, check-in is next one's coming up Saturday at
Looking forward to it.
12:30. It will not be in the studio because our good friends
Elsa
and Anna
has
have
moved
kicked us out again.
along, but that's okay.
Don't worry about it.
Look.
I don't work here. Don't worry about it. Just kick me out. You
All
just
right.
do whatever you want, Disney. Do whatever you want.
All right.
Okay.
We have to go. Thanks so much, everybody, for checking in. Enjoy the game tonight. Again, the 15-1 Winnipeg Jets in Tampa. The game is on TSN, on TSN3, so you don't want to miss it. And we look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks for watching, everybody.